the things that would make their husbands or their brothers comfortable while they were at war. And so when they started, they all had wonderful supplies, and they put these in their knapsacks. But as the war wore on for many years that they did not expect, it changed. Inside the knapsack, he was required to carry a heavy load as well as boxes of issued shells and a rifle. The knapsack was made of oilcloth covered canvas and packed with extra socks, shirts, toothbrush, hair comb, a few eating utensils, and a thin ground cloth for his bed. Then there were his personal things, packed carefully and carried close to his heart. Photographs, paper and pen, envelopes, a tobacco pouch, and for his comfort, the Bible. His life was folded neatly into a 1 foot by 2 foot square with drinking cup and shoulder strap canteen. In the weariness of the war, he would lose many things, save those carried close to his heart. I was surprised when I did my research that the soldiers had reading material with them, a lot of them. I never would have dreamed that, but they had some of them when they camped, finally made camp. They could go into town. They would sometimes buy a newspaper if it was available, or there were publications that were familiar to that time, and some of them would carry magazines. But they said the majority of the boys took a Bible, and that Bible was one of the items in their knapsack. And they would usually carry the Bible and a photograph to the end. But along the way, they didn't have extra shirts, they didn't have extra socks, and probably the toothbrushes were gone by that time, and eating utensils were whatever they had left. But their canteen, of course, was the most important and critical thing. But most of the soldiers carried that Bible. If their knapsacks were found, they had the Bible and a photograph in that knapsack. One of the other items they always hurried to the store to buy was the paper and pen. They wanted to write home, and they wanted letters from home. They wanted to hear from home.
It's hard to get letters home more than
Yeah. And you said that have you seen some letters of your family, the Blaylocks, or anyone? Did they write any letters that
I've got to go through that. There's a lot of stuff
you
in
need to
it.
do that, yeah.
I've just in the last 6 months or a year got interested in reading that book.
Yeah. Well, go back. You may have some treasures, because the treasures come from the letters home and from stories like Aunt Izzy told me. These are all, my treasures. I think the next one I'll read, because the soldiers did carry a tobacco pouch in those knapsacks. Again, in the evenings they didn't have a lot to do, and so tobacco being raised in the South, most men smoked tobacco. And this one on page 19 is called Tobacco for Coffee. And this is about how the soldiers from the North would barter with the soldiers from the South. And you think that these men are in the battlefield in the daytime fighting each other, and then in the evening sometimes this is what would happen. Tobaccos for coffee. Tiny seeds had been sown in their small tobacco patch by the early spring of 1862. Miriam and Suki, with the help from the old man, would be able to harvest the yellow leaves later in July or August, then hang the hands in their open barn. Air-cured tobacco leaves made a sweet and mild-tasting smoke that soldier boys of the Union and Confederacy would soon be craving. When months wore on and fiery war battles lulled, when it was sport to barter rich northern coffee for fresh southern tobacco, when rations were in short supply and chicory or chew could not satisfy, when there was nothing else in their hands except a dirty white hanky waving in the quiet evening and peaceful interlude of war. They said the men would when the battle was over, they would all retreat to their own camps. Might just be across a cornfield or a meadow. And some evenings you could hear the men singing on both sides, and they were singing Home Sweet Home. Both camps knew the words to this song, and both camps would sing together, the Union and the Confederate soldiers. And another thing they would do is they would take their hankies out and they would wave their hankies at each other, and then two of the soldiers would walk to the center of the battlefield and they would talk to each other, and they would say, "Do you have any of that good coffee?" And they would say, "Yeah, we have some of that good southern tobacco." And they would trade. They would go back to their camps and they would get their supplies, and they'd come to the center again and they would exchange tobacco and coffee. Little comfort that they had.
It looks like it'd be very hard next morning, like on Tuesday morning, start giving coffee.
Very hard. That's the thorny truth. This was a very difficult war. These young men, they didn't have anything against each other. You know, there was just another young man, and they were fighting. And then at night they were singing across the meadows together and trading coffee and tobacco together. And then the next day, you're right, Nino, they had to take their guns and go back to the battlefield.
I wouldn't have made a very good soldier.
I wouldn't have either, Nina.
Got shot for your own people.
I
That's
don't
true.
think I don't
They
think
would
I would
have.
have either. I want to read the one on page 24. This poem was inspired by Teresa. She was doing her research, and she mentioned a hard march. And I didn't know what that meant, a hard march.
Through the rain.
And so I did some research. She told